Welcome to r/Tales from Tech Support, where we get to have a little chuckle at the technologically disadvantaged. Like me. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. There will be no cat cam today, because I'm pretty sure the cats are downstairs conspiring with the kids to destroy what's left of the house. Today I tripped a panic alarm at a customer's office. This is a lot of years ago. I went to a customer's office. It was like a union/mutual savings office to check the network. Not exactly sure on the specifics. It was a small street corner office and obviously not built with computers or network in mind. As part of the network, I think a AADSL router was in the bathroom. In the process of following the wiring, there I see this nondescript weird button-like thing, a rectangular central part with raised guards on the side, behind the sink pillar near the floor. I was young and wasn't quite versed in alarm technology back then, and, what the hell is that thing doing there on the floor? With a wire going to it. A thermal sensor? A sensor of some sort? The curiosity was too much and I couldn't help myself and pushed it, thinking it was a cap and the sensor was behind it. But no, it was a button. Nothing happens and I go about continuing the work there. Some minutes later the police drop in and everyone is wide-eyed, and they go about identifying everyone there. They didn't believe I was a tech at first and thought I was the robber. After some minutes of convincing and, "Oh yeah, I pushed it and didn't know what it was," with a red face. Yeah, what I pushed was the silent alarm panic button. So if you get held hostage or tied in the bathroom, you push it. They laughed a lot at work after that. Oh my god. I understand. Especially when you're young, it's really hard to resist the, "Ooh, what does this do?" 1. Did you restart? 2. Is everything plugged in? 3. The joys of work from home with your spouse. So their laptop went danger pillow and we decided it was best not to feed power through it. Unfortunately, it requires unscrewing the case to remove, so taking it out and just running on AC was not an option. So she gets approval to grab a tower from the office to use while the new laptop ships in for replacement. The tower has one HDMI and one DisplayPort, while the docking station has 2 DisplayPort connections. I grab a spare HDMI and connect the tower to the 2 monitors. When the replacement comes in, my spouse complains about not having any icons and nothing is visible when programs start. I leave my desk to troubleshoot. Her boss still hasn't approved the $300 an hour, 2-hour minimum charge schedule I tried to negotiate. Oof. And sure enough, I can't see any active windows, although the taskbar shows the program's launched. Scrolling over the thumbnail for the display properties window, it shows that the computer is showing 4 monitors. The work setup is only supposed to be 2, but the built-in display for the laptop would explain a 3rd. Not sure why 4. I disconnect the docking port and everything works correctly on just the laptop. I was about to move one monitor directly into the laptop to troubleshoot that connection when I noticed there are 3 connections in the docking port. My spouse, when unplugging the temporary tower, plugged everything back into the docking station, including the extra HDMI connection. One monitor was connected twice and could only display 1 connection, and the display selected as primary happened to be the one that it didn't display. So I guess when asking if everything's plugged in, I should also check that the appropriate peripherals are plugged in. Yup, you see a loose cable, you find a matching hole, plug her in. The good news is at least you were there and close by to help out. The bad news is you're probably not going to get your $300 per hour, 2-hour minimum. The good news, you get to stay married a little longer. I'm now the printer guy because coworker can't boil water correctly. Another thread here sparked a repressed memory and I had to share. I was working in a non-IT office administration job, but I was the de facto IT guy. It was a terrible, thankless job, but it gave me the experience to get where I am now, and most of the coworkers were cool. Most. One day I had to leave in a hurry and the main MFD was low on black toner, so I showed one of my coworkers where the toner was and left. 2 things to explain. 1, this MFD had the easiest toner refilling I've ever seen. It was literally 3 steps beginning to end, and the toner came straight out and went right back in without any kind of finagling. 2, this particular coworker was an idiot of the highest order. He had an IQ to rival that of a knockoff Chia Pet, and this was well known in the office. He was over 40 and had 0 discernible, marketable skills of any kind. The kind of coworker that is just demoralizing to be around because somehow you both get paid the same amount. Oof. Like I said, I was in a hurry and absolutely had to leave. I had a tiny bit of faith in the aforementioned coworker. I come in the next morning to find black toner all over the carpet in front of the printer. That's horrible. He had somehow decided that opening the toner cartridge itself was a part of the change process, and hadn't bothered to clean it up when he spectacularly failed. The result? No, the coworker didn't get in trouble. I got in trouble for not staying to change the toner myself and was told to not let it happen again. Oh, and I had to clean up the carpet. Was that specifically in your job description? I'm not sure I read that. Maybe I missed it. Holy cow. Listen, if this guy's not allowed to touch toner or anything that's even remotely dangerous or messy to the office, maybe somebody should let the rest of the office know? Wow. Fine, take the scripts. Sharing a bit of nostalgia from some time back. A business bought a 1-month manpower contract from my boss. The job is simple but tedious. Deploy roughly 200 laptops with their customized Windows Vista Business SP1 image. Record the serial numbers, rename the computer, join them to AD, install drivers and any additional software required, and mount a bunch of network drives. Arrived at the customer's office and was introduced to their IT person doing all the steps manually. As in, turning the laptop over to see and record the serial numbers on Notepad, renaming and joining the computers to AD using the system window, and adding the network shares with the map network drive option in Explorer. Watching this was aggravating, so it was time to get creative. As a Linux user back then, I'm not anymore. Best decision ever, but that's a story for another time. With zero experience in managing and supporting Windows deployments, I started experimenting with writing bat files on the side because I was very certain that at least some of the stuff could be automated. In the meantime, their IT person, in quotes, was complaining of slow progress. After some trial and error, I had 2 crude but usable scripts ready to go on day 3. The first script would create a persistent map for the required network drives, rename the computer, join it to AD, and then reboot the laptop in that order. The second script retrieves the serial number and the new computer name, map a network share to the IT department's shared folder, append that info into a .txt file I created for this purpose, and then remove this mapping. The drivers and additional software still needed manual installation, but it was nothing compared to the time saved, and the laptop's all done by the end of the second week. Since there was still 2 weeks left to the contract, I was redeployed as their general IT support. Isn't that what the IT person there is paid to do? Notice the pattern after a few days. Common problems there include network shares and shared printers randomly disconnecting and refusing to reconnect. Out comes another 2 scripts. One to remove all mapped network drives and then reconnect to them again, another to do the same for the printers. Thus I never had to leave my seat for a good portion of the time. Just take the fault call, get the details, make minor changes to my scripts, remote into the user's computer, load the scripts, check the results, and out I go. When the contract finally concluded, the IT person, still in quotes, insisted that I leave the scripts behind because they were considered company property. Didn't want to raise a stink and complied. Boss wasn't pleased, but I didn't care. After all, if a person who worked on Windows computers their entire life couldn't be bothered to learn basic automation while a third-party contractor with minimal Windows sysadmin experience was able to crank out a bunch of scripts in 3 days, it's a safe bet that this fellow wouldn't have the know-how to edit and use them effectively. Correct. Their IT guy, I hate air quotes, I don't know why I did that. Their IT guy obviously wasn't smart enough to be able to use them. I think it was just something that he was told that, anything done for us under contract needs to stay with us. It's pretty much the long and the short of it. And since he doesn't know everything about what you did, he just, whatever he found out, he assumed was theirs, and that was that. Oh well. The mysterious headache. I'm in IT for a big company, which also owns some sort of rehabilitation clinic with a psych ward. One of my funniest support stories came from there. The clinic was freshly rebuilt, and we got a couple of new doctors. A user reports she gets a headache from the router behind her. I said, okay, I'll look at it. Before I go there, I talked with our team lead. If he knows any extra router in the offices, he said no. Maybe some of the in-house technician mounted an access point in her office. I drove to her office and asked what was the problem. She pointed to the LAN socket behind her and said those were giving her a headache. I said there's nothing patched to it, not even power, nothing. But she insisted it gave her a headache. In the end, she just placed something in front of it, and ta-da, no more headache. We had a great laugh about her and learned that psych docs are kind of special. You sure it was the doctor? You sure it wasn't patient playing doctor? That happens in a lot of movies. Oh, I'm not the IT guy, I'm the sales guy. Ever had that distinct feeling of seething anger and hatred towards a guy, only to realize it's not really his fault and you're kind of left wondering what there is left to feel at all? That was me a few weeks ago. Quick backstory. We've sold 10 client PCs to a customer on which they had installed software we also sell. The end customer, who we'll call John, ended up not liking the software, so we were asked if we could provide something different. Demos were given, and in the end, they had chosen the software that was ideal for their situation. The client's ITer, who we'll name Fred, was also present, and he was noting down and asking what the installation procedures were. Their sales guy, who we'll name Dan, was there too. Mind you, I was not present at this demo, so I had no idea who anyone was or what exactly was sold. My colleague, we'll call him George, was the one present at the demo and was also handling most of their questions regarding the new software. Fast forward 2 months and I get a call from Dan, who I at the time didn't know wasn't their IT guy. He said the software wasn't working properly and asked if one of us could drop by to fix it. I said that George was on holiday, so if they wanted his help specifically, they'd have to wait until he came back in about 2 weeks. But if I could provide any help, I wouldn't mind doing so. A week passes with no answer, so I figured they wanted to wait for George to come back. Then suddenly I got a call from Dan. Dan: "Hi, is this George?" "No, this is T. How can I help?" Dan: "Oh, well, can I talk to George?" Me: "George is still on leave until next week. Is there anything I can assist you with?" Dan sighs audibly. "Well, our customer's saying that the software isn't working at all and wants someone to come by tomorrow to fix it." Me: "Oh, I'll need to check our schedules and see if I'm able to cut." Dan: No, you don't understand. Someone has to come or we'll lose this customer. You guys had better come or I'll go and find another distributor to buy our stuff from." Me: "Is there any way for me to remotely log into the clients and see if I can fix it that way?" Dan: "No, it's a..." Long pause. Me: "And?" Dan: "Closed the network, so there's no internet connection to the clients." Me: "Alright, one moment." I put him on hold and go into my boss's office. I explain the situation. He checks my schedule, makes a few calls, and asks me if I'm willing to go there tomorrow. I say I am, despite the long drive, because I want to help them out. The customer and I agree to meet at 9 a.m. on location. The next day, after a 2-hour-long drive, I arrive on location at 9 a.m. Client is nowhere to be seen. I wait a half an hour, and I call him. He says he's on the way, but that he's run into some traffic. Around 10:30, he arrives saying he's sorry, and we go inside. Mind you, I was already annoyed at the fact that I had to wait an hour and a half after driving 2 hours. We enter the building. I go to the clients and see that the software is only installed on one PC. Me: "I thought you'd installed them on all the PCs already?" Dan: Apparently not." Me: "I was under the impression that the software wasn't working properly, but it's not installed at all." Dan: I didn't know that." Me: "What do you mean you didn't know? You're the one who installed and programmed it, right?" Dan: "Oh, you mean Fred? Fred's on leave until next week. I'm the sales guy who sold this system." Me: "And he only installed the software on one PC?" Dan: Yes." Me: "Is there a reason why you didn't install them on the other clients?" Dan: I don't know, actually. Our client was threatening to pursue legal action if we didn't fix it this week, so I panicked and asked you guys to come. Can you fix it?" So instead of spending maybe 1 to 2 hours troubleshooting the software, I'm stuck installing and configuring 9 PCs with this software, which took me about 4 to 5 hours to make sure everything worked properly. On the exterior, I was friendly, professional, and calm while answering whatever questions they had. But on the inside, man, I was fuming. After a while, I just couldn't fault the guy, and the fault probably lies with Fred. So I ended up feeling empty. I left. 2-hour trip back. Called my boss and explained the situation. He said he'd charge them a full day of on-site support. A week later, I learned that Fred was planning on installing the software on the 9 other clients, but he forgot his week of vacation was coming up, so he figured it wouldn't be a big deal to finish his work after he got back, and didn't let his sales guy know. No idea if he got fired for it or not. Well, Fred sounds really pleasant. Kind of set everybody up for failure there, didn't you, Fred? And OP, I totally get what you're saying. There's just no satisfaction. There's nobody to really be mad at. You're just kind of, meh. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Click this one here on the screen. I think you'll enjoy that one too. See ya.